Hey guys, Steve here. I wanted to tell you about today's sponsor, Knox. It's Knox 3-in-1 Refresher Spray. It's a moisture-absorbing spray that's designed specifically for men, especially the undercarriage guys. I mean, on a summer day, if you've ever been out and about, you get all sweaty and sticky, but you don't have time to take a shower, this is the answer. I'm sure you've had that experience, guys, and it sucks. So I want to tell you, this is a game changer. You can use it on your armpits. You know, you can put it on clothing, sports pads, pretty much anything that collects moisture. They actually design this stuff for military applications. So tactical gear, anything that you don't want sticky and you don't want to stink. So visit mynux.com. And, you know, I want to let you know that it has no aluminum ingredients. It's tested to be safe and effective, and it comes in scented or unscented varieties. So, again, that's mynux.com. That's myKnucks.com.
So tell me, why is CBD oil the future?
Yeah, good question. We just discovered our endocannabinoid systems less than 20 years ago, and it makes a whole big difference. Regulates pretty much every system in the body. And now we're starting to realize that there are other amazing cannabinoids than just THC, the one that's been famous, gets you high. It's the only one that gets you high. Oh, yeah. CBD gets you healthy, and along with all the other cannabinoids as well.
So today on the show, we got Adriaan or Adriaan or
that's right.
the European way. Adriaan Zimmerman and Rhett Taylor. And they are the co-founders of Ned. You can find it at helloned.com and also at Meet Ned on Facebook, Instagram. Check out their story, their videos, put some faces to the names if you're listening on one of the podcasts. Today we're starting off with both in the beginning of the episode, but we're only going to do a quick teaser with Brett as he's got to head out, and we're going to hear more about him in a future episode. You want to just quickly tell us about yourself and, you know, why, kind of what we're waiting for to hear in future weeks?
Yeah, sure. Been in the rat race like you were, and, realized that I was succeeding at it, but feeling pretty damn unfulfilled. Had a deep passion that derived from my mother's illness. She was diagnosed with cancer, and I went on a big deep dive to find the best alternative remedies, the best natural remedies from around the world to help her with her cancer, and found a deep passion there, jumping out of the rat race and focusing on it. Adriaan is my amazing partner, and today's all about him, but yeah, I look forward to getting back with you and telling you a bit more about the story.
Yeah, we just realized there's so much here to share. There's so much going on between the both of you that we kind of have to focus each episode on each one individually. So it was fun while it lasted. It was. And, but we got to continue next time. But if Adriaan wants to sneak in on your episode as well and kind of steal from the thunder for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, definitely stealing thunder.
All right. Have a good day, and we'll continue on over here.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
You continue. But tell me a little bit more. Where are you at right now? First of all, the place looks amazing.
We're in Boulder, Colorado at our office. We're actually looking to move offices very soon. But it's been an incredible place to not only launch the business, but it's an incredible community to found a business. There's a lot of really extraordinary people here in Boulder, and a lot of resources to share, and a great brain trust. And, Rhett and I both spent many years in big cities around the world, everywhere from Hong Kong to Paris to New York City to, Riyadh. And, we've both journeyed quite a bit, but, we had both gone to university here in Boulder and found our way back here. And we managed to link up back in 2016 and start talking about creating business together. And it took some time, about 1.5 years for us to figure out what that was. For a number of reasons, I was on a 2-year sojourn around the world and really taking a step away from, this life that had consumed me for 10 years.
And so Ned, more about Ned really quick. It's not just about CBD, right? There's a lot more to the company.
Yeah. So we're a wellness brand. We've always thought of ourselves as a wellness brand, and we're really rooted in this idea of helping people feel better and live better through much more simple means and a deeper connection to the natural world. And we started with hemp CBD because it's in our backyard here in Colorado, and that's just how the universe aligned for us. And Red had met this epic hemp farmer, Kurt, and
epic hemp farmer, huh? There's got to be a background story to that.
Every sense of the word. Like he was a cannabis grower for 10 years, growing for a bunch of billionaires up in Aspen, and really refined the craft of creating really beautiful, high-grade cannabis. But after kind of hiding in the shadows for a bit, he really decided that, hemp would be the way that he could apply that science and craft to doing something that would allow him to be out in the open and on this beautiful farm that he owns out in Paonia, Colorado. And it's this just magical homestead that is now the single source of our premium full spectrum hemp.
Was it because a lot of people try to get into it, but a lot of people fail. Was it, did you have a lot of obstacles in the way just because, it's such a hot thing? It has been, like, you got into it, a few years back. So, the earlier, the better, obviously. But, like right now I'm in Illinois and in Chicago, and they just, they made CBD legal, and soon they're going to eventually legalize the whole thing. But even if you were to just try to start up anything, it's not the easiest process, especially if you want to grow.
Well, I mean, I wish we were just talking in past tense that we had challenges and struggles. It continues to be a thing. And, a good example is payment processing. It continues to be the Achilles heel of this entire industry where, us as a direct consumer, primarily e-commerce business, we need to process credit cards. And we've been through half a dozen credit card processors, and it continues to be an issue where we'll be on with one and then we're, all of a sudden offline and searching for the next one. And we've been very fortunate to, what we call our ground game. We've played a really solid ground game from the start. We have not taken on any outside investment. We bootstrapped this business. We reached profitability within 5 months. Like, we really focus on building a strong foundation, which is something I've learned later in my career, or my past startups. House of cards. And, so we've been able to endure a lot of the challenges that other companies have not, whether it's just spending egregious amounts of money where they really shouldn't be at, not having a good product. That's first and foremost. There are a lot of companies are just white labeling products from, shitty wholesalers, and a lot of products don't even have their stated amount of CBD in them. And so, like, I was speaking with somebody about it yesterday. This idea of he was kind of like, well, where's your farm? And I was like, oh, it's in Paonia, Colorado. There's actually the GPS coordinates for a farm right here on our bottle.
So you lay it out. You're not hiding it.
We're fully transparent, and I think that's what you ought to do. And he's like, wow, like, I'm so happy I had an answer for that, because I know this space really well, and I've met a lot of people in both cannabis and the hemp space, and he's like, 99% of them don't know where their farm is. They're just buying through these chains of suppliers, and you don't know what you're getting. So, transparency and honesty has been inherent in the brand we built, and I think plays into that ability to withstand a lot of the challenges that continue to come our way, despite being high growth and profitable and kind of what we'd call an emerging leader in this space.
Are you shipping out everywhere? right now, or what's
We're shipping to all 50 states, occasionally abroad. We try not to get too heavy into international orders just because there's still confusion, and then we got customs issues. And,
for sure.
And it's just really like, one of the many lessons I've learned over the years is focus or fail. And by focusing on this massive market we have in the US, we can allow ourselves to continue to solidify that foundation.
And kind of backtracking a little bit though, when did you know, this is what you wanted to do? I'm done with that 9-to-5 life. I'm past it. I feel like you had quite a few moments, right?
Yeah.
Is there a significant one?
I mean, it's crazy. So I've been in the startup world since I was 23. I was working in venture capital out in Hong Kong and Paris, and very quickly realized I wanted to be on the other side of the table, and didn't know a thing. So I just left and I started my first company and got my ass kicked. Learned a lot of the hard lessons the hard way. And as things work out, like out of the ashes grow these other things that are just better than the last ones. And when I was in New York, I co-founded a popular men's publication with a couple of guys, grew that to about 15 million readers a month, and then got acquired by a group out in LA.
Oh, wow.
And then I worked for them. And that was the first time where I was actually like had a job since my first one.
So you worked for the company that bought you guys out?
Exactly.
Okay.
And there's a beauty in that too. It was all of a sudden going from like, running a business to really being able to hone in on creating something for them without worrying about the administrative tasks and all this shit that
all the little stuff that comes along with it.
Yeah. So that was great. And it was great for, a couple of years, and did some really great things for them. Got paid a ton of money, and I was feeling really good, and found myself in New York City living the life that I worked my entire 20s to live. And, I had my sweet bachelor pad, and I checked off all the boxes I'd set out to check off. And
it sounds like the dream, right? Sounds like it.
Sounds like it, exactly. And, you're no stranger to this conversation where come out the back end of it just questioning, well, what is this? And this can't be it. So I came out, I was 32. I was just miserable, and I couldn't really figure out why. I just find myself in these, I felt stuck. And, my life in New York was really revolving around work, women, and party. And it was this endless cycle that I was not finding a way to break. And it was too scary to think about
anything else, right?
Yeah. Leaving it, or who am I without that? So I ended up moving out to the UK and working for a company I'd been on the board of, and the most prolific digital publisher in all of Europe. It's the number 1 and number 2 publisher on all of Facebook. It's called the LADBible group. They're
okay.
And I was in essence a leadership role in that company, and thinking that that change of scenery will fix everything. It's the place. It's not the person.
Of course.
It's
never you. It's never you. It's never me. Ever. Why would it?
Exactly.
No chance. No chance.
Yeah. So I had spent about a month out in the UK before I just started waking up with that same feeling of oh my God, my life is not my own. Time is just slipping through my fingers, and this can't be the next 5 years of my life. And so
how long did you last out there?
6 months.
That's okay, good.
Yeah, so I made it 6 months, and then that inflection point, happened when I was presenting to our company during our quarterly review, and we had about 75 employees at the time, and halfway through this really simple standard presentation, I had a full-blown panic attack, and my voice went, my hands were shaking, and my mind was just filled with this overwhelming fear and need to escape. And I had no idea how to reconcile that. I'd never had an anxiety attack before. I was just crushed through this. I will get through this, blah, 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 blah. And, the next day I walked into the boardroom and had another panic attack. And like the boardroom was my domain. That's like where
there's only a few of you, right? And there.
It was really like, and I was having panic attacks in there. And then I broke out in shingles, and it was like no longer a emotional and psychological thing. It was a physical manifestation of all this, like withheld.
Did it ever happen before these meetings?
Never.
Wow. So just out of nowhere in your early 30s, right?
Yeah, 32. And, you know, within 2 weeks, I was pushed out the door. Like they had brought me in to really take them to the next level. And there I am, like melting down. And truthfully, in the meantime, as I was dealing with all this stuff, like my work relationships were suffering. I wasn't doing good work. I wasn't being a good friend. I wasn't being a good, you know, son or brother, or, you know, I was just vacant, and I was not present. And it was a scary time, you know, to all of a sudden have to reconcile that, like, something's changing here.
So did they sort of push you out after all these moments?
Out and gave me a very generous package to leave.
How did you cope with that? Like when that first attack happened, like did you finish that presentation, or did you actually step away?
I finished it, but choked out whatever words I could muster. Like it was a total bomb, and it was like, yeah, it was a really tough thing to swallow. It was hard on my ego, and it was super embarrassing. And so much of my self-identity was wrapped up in this, you know, cool-handed executive type. And all of a sudden that just flew out the window, and I was left to like literally ask those really quintessential questions of like, who am I and what is my purpose? And especially when I realized that I was no longer wanted there. And that was like even a tougher thing to swallow.
You start questioning everything about your whole existence, right?
And very fortuitously, I had a good friend's wedding out in Seattle right around the same time. So I took off out to Seattle, and after the wedding, I just took a road trip by myself to Northern California, where my parents are. And for the first time in 10 years, just went camping and hiking and spending time outdoors and by myself without any emails to answer or presentations to put together or Excel spreadsheets to crunch. And there was this like opening in that week. And what I decided is, rather than, you know, go get a Xanax prescription and try to keep going, I would go away, and I would take that rare opportunity I had, where I had the finances in place and I had the time and space to go look inwards. And, you know, so I bought a ticket out to Nepal and started there what I thought might be a couple months of just stepping away, and it turned into 2 years of just wandering and taking photos and writing, and
just all alone.
All alone, it's completely solo, wandering into the Himalayas, and just like searching. And I wasn't sure for what, but you know, and I spent the next 2 years covering 30 countries, and you know, really leaning into nature, which really gave me my soul back in a way, and leaning into simplicity, which just all of a sudden made me feel capable, like these very practical skills and living with less. And so I was finding like a tremendous amount of joy.
Yeah.
Things like chopping wood.
Did you turn off your phone at all for periods and stuff?
Long stretches.
Like days or what?
Like upwards of 10 days at a time, and just really just being checked out, and really leaning into the present moment, and finding human connection. And, you know, the way I describe it now is my relationships in my past life were a mile wide and an inch deep. You know, I had lots of really incredible friends in New York, but not many that I still talk to at this point, you know, and so it's this human connection idea really came from first finding honesty with myself, you know, really listening to like, okay, what were all those warning signs that I ignored when I was, you know, pre-panic attack? What did I really need? What did I personally need? Not what I thought I needed or wanted. And then that sense of self-honesty really led to vulnerability and honesty with others. So I could all of a sudden have these conversations with people.
Right.
We'd go from 0 to 100 in seconds. And we'd go from, you know, saying hello to talking about existence and love and these things that are not easy to talk about or were not easy to talk about in my past life. So it was an incredible opportunity to get altitude on my life.
Where did you go? So you started in Nepal. Where'd you end?
Yeah, Nepal, Bhutan, India, all over South America, Cuba, Dominican, all over Northern Europe and the Balkans, so places like Albania and Montenegro and Bosnia, Australia, New Zealand. By the end of it, I was totally dirtbagging, and I was in a tent, you know, 5 out of 6 or 5 out of 7 nights a week. I was hitchhiking everywhere. I was just
really?
Like, not because I needed to.
You were that guy. You were that guy.
Yeah, I was just I was tramping around, and it was amazing. And then just like one day, it was like that scene in Forrest Gump where he's like, I think I'll go home now. You know, like I just kind of hit this stop where I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready. And and then landed back in the US and trying to figure out what his reentry looked like. And yeah, so
was it what you expected?
I mean, it was wild. It was really, because I found myself back in New York. You know, I met a woman in LA and like applied this new ethos to love, and quickly fell in love, which was amazing because it was the first time
you allowed yourself,
that
right?
I actually like felt, you know, and so I was then landed in New York and was seeing it with a very different lens. It was like just not this incredible, authentic, creative place that I once knew. I still love it. It's amazing, but it just clearly was not aligning with me or this like new self. So I found myself finding every opportunity I could to get out of there, like little road trips, little, you know, catch up with friends in California, whatever it might be. And then I had a friend's wedding in Utah at Zion National Park. And then it was a road trip out to Colorado and a morning drive through the mountains that I was all of a sudden like, okay, like it's time to come back, and really clicked. And it was very clear, and, you know, things had fallen apart with this girl in LA, and it was just like, there's nothing holding me anywhere. So I just made the choice to come to Colorado without any sense of what would be there for me. But it turned out to be the best and most aligned thing I could have done, and really led to Ned.
And I take it Ned has a lot to do with you overcoming that anxiety, right? Or was it the outdoorsy part, or it was
all three of those things. It was like nature, simplicity, and human connection. Like those were my rehab, for lack of a better term. And, you know, a lot of those principles are built into the ethos of Ned. And, you know, but I wouldn't say I've overcome it. Like I still get anxious, and, you know, to this day, I still have this newfound fear of public speaking, and, you know, continue to do a lot of work. And I'll never pretend that I am some, like, you know, what would we call it? Cured
person.
Right.
And
Is there such thing?
yeah, exactly. And we never want to set that expectation for our customers either. It's like, we want to be very transparent that like, yes, we all suffer, and that's just part of life. It is the peaks and valleys, that like heartbeat of life. And we'll have great days, we'll have bad days, we'll be sick, we'll be healthy. But what can we do to feel better and live better through those simple and natural means, and avoid getting really sick down the road?
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely man, that really hits home, especially because I could relate with a lot of similarities. And I had panic attacks throughout my life that kind of came out of nowhere later on. And actually I'm experimenting myself with CBD nowadays, kind of trying to see if that's a thing for me or not. Is that something that you got into as well, I take it then? Or
yeah, it was part of the re-entry, and I had started consulting with a couple of companies and finding myself getting really anxious. And a buddy of mine who is always ahead of the curve in terms of health and wellness gave me a bottle of CBD, and he's like, try this. And at the time, first, it wasn't a very good product, but also I was of the assumption that I would just take it once and it would be like a Xanax.
Cure you, right? Oh, okay.
It'd be like taking an anti-anxiety med.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of what I thought.
Yeah, but what I later learned is that it's a cumulative effect, and it really takes time and consistency for things to come into balance. And because it is such a regulatory plant medicine, like it regulates homeostasis in pretty much every biological system in our bodies. And one of the primary things it addresses is inflammation. And inflammation is behind so many things, illnesses and anxiety and sleep disorders and depression. And by allowing things to come into balance, like other things come into balance. So all of a sudden you sleep better, and when you sleep better, you become less anxious. And when you're less anxious, gosh, life is better.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to attest to that too.
But now kind of going back for me, just a couple of years back ago, I was sitting there and I was miserable, as you probably were at some point earlier. And I was sitting in that cubicle, just not knowing sure what, kind of contemplating if life is even worth it anymore. That's to the point that I got. What would you tell someone like me now, kind of, if going out into this world of entrepreneurism, because it's not as easy as people say it is. What would you tell that person though, whether they go for it or they don't?
Honestly, it starts with honesty. Like, be honest with yourself. Really listen to what it is you want, and be patient while following that path. Because the reality is, if you're making a really nice salary and you're comfortable financially, you're not going to step right into that in a startup, and it's not glorious. It is the trenches. It is.
Oh, it is.
You ride all the highs and you ride all the lows, and so it's not a peaceful thing, but there's a lot of fulfillment to be found there, because when it's your business, it's up to you, and you decide what it's going to be. And there's something beautiful about that. And, being back in the driver's seat of an incredible business after several years of stepping away from that and working a job, I've realized how much more aligned that is with me. And the other thing I would say is, like, look, if you don't know if you're ready, but you're miserable in whatever you're doing, there's no issue with taking a step away. Go into the forest for a few days, or go traveling for a couple months if you have the finances, or go take cooking classes, or do something outside of your normal. And all of a sudden you might start finding inspiration and start finding the space to actually, like, listen to yourself. Because
I was there myself. I was stuck, and I wish I could have made the conscious decision to step away before it hit that breaking point. And I all of a sudden was like, dealing with a anxiety disorder. And, there's that fear that you feel like maybe your peers are going to advance past you. And, this isn't me. Like, I just crush and I keep going. It's just like, that's not true. There's no reality in that. And, those people that you think are advancing past you might burn out just when you're hitting your stride again. And, so my best advice is just be patient and listen to yourself, and whatever that call is. If it's shit, I'm going to be a painter, or like I'm going to be, a musician or an entrepreneur, like whatever's calling you, like listen to that, because life is short, and man, like what a shame to waste it.
And now on to our listeners' favorite segment of the show.
Welcome to the round with no name, because they're all taken.
Time for a little change of pace. So right now you're going to have exactly, not about, we're exact here, 5 seconds to initiate an answer on the next few curveballs I throw at you.
Cool.
I don't want you to think too much. Just throw something out, honestly, anything. Otherwise, my producer, Steve, aka the leg breaker, he's somewhere in the background. He's always lurking around. I don't know why he always comes by my place during these times, but he's always lurking around, and I don't want to have to deal with him. If you had an unlimited amount of money and you could start up any business you wanted to, what would it be? Not your own.
Something to do with photography. Like, I just love photography and the visual storytelling that can be done through photography, and the souls that can be captured. So what it is, I don't know, but something with photography.
Your favorite book?
The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera.
I don't think I heard of that. Need to check it out.
Amazing.
Favorite movie?
Let's go Forrest Gump.
It's like you had to. You set yourself up.
Yeah.
How do you drink your coffee?
Just cream.
Just cream, huh? Do you use like a specific brand? Do you go to Starbucks every day, or you?
No, just I'm a simple guy. Just a little kind of half and half, and I'm a happy guy. Or straight espresso. I drink a lot of straight espresso as well.
Yeah, I definitely could use some more espresso today. Still midday, still early enough. But if you were stranded on an island and you had one thing you needed, if you could bring one thing with you, what would it be? And it can't be a person, for the unforeseeable future.
Let's go Kindle.
Okay. I hope you got one of those like lifetime lasting battery packs with it.
They're not solar power, are they?
Oh yeah, solar power. Boom. There you go. Discover that.
Solar charger, if I can sneak to.
If there's one thing that you have on you every day, maybe you consume it or you wear it, but it makes you you and you can't live a day without it, what would it be?
Shit, I hate to say it, but it's my phone. It's always on me. That's the only thing that always happens to me.
Oh man, that's like the worst answer you could have given after everything you just said.
Oh, God.
That's amazing. You can't explain yourself now. Nope. We move on. How serious would you take me if we had a meeting and I came in with socks and sandals?
Totally seriously. It's not about appearance at this point.
Oh, okay. Good. So whatever else I said next, it wouldn't matter at all? You'd still look at me the same way?
For sure.
Is there someone you had to sacrifice, to kind of get to where you're at right now? Is there something you had to give up?
Safety, comfort. Yeah, that was what I had to walk away from.
All right. Well, you survived. I survived. I hope you still have your phone with you, because clearly you can't live a second without it. Huh?
I just totally do this. Oh, God. I was like, my other
Yeah,
is underpants, but like, come on.
I thought you were gonna say like your hair or something after Rhett's intro of you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
Well,
hey, man. Well, this was great.
yeah, no, definitely. The mic is yours. I know you're so everybody, once again, that's Hello Ned. If you go on Facebook, helloned.com is the actual website itself. On Facebook, Instagram, it's Meet Ned, and Ned is NED. That's Nancy Echo Delta.
That's
in case
it.
you misheard me. And I heard you might have something special going on for the guests. Is that true?
Yeah. We're making you guys a very special, unique discount code, which will get you 15% off your first purchase at Hello Ned, and that's B2B15.
Yes. For all the listeners, that's B like boss to boss, B the number 2, B 15. So boy to boy 15 or bird to bird or something, but you got it.
And if it gets too complicated, just reach out to us and we'll sort you out.
We'll make it work. And you guys have many products, whether it's body butter, right, or lip balm or oil, or do you do the actual vapes itself?
We don't do any vapes. We try to keep things super natural and simple in our process. And by doing a vape, we'd be introducing these mechanical elements that we don't necessarily feel are essential. So, the next most efficient way to get cannabinoids into your body is through sublingual ingestion, which is under your tongue. The capillaries under your tongue do a really good job of absorbing all those cannabinoids. So that's what our full spectrum hemp oils are for. And then we have an amazing body butter that we just reformulated with arnica, as well as 240 milligrams of CBD. And that's really great for targeted treatment. And to come, July, we're dropping a really cool new line that's specifically designed for the female endocrine system. So hormonal balance, menstrual relief. And that was really a product of listening to our customers and questions they had. And then we'll be doing our first line outside of hemp, hopefully before the year ends. So lots of more stuff to come, and
awesome. That's exciting.
Adventures. So
yeah, I haven't really fully got to speak to anyone that actually has been like in there since the beginning, because a lot of people are just kind of reselling help now, through MLM, things like that. But you actually got your own thing going, and it's very special to hear, and I'm excited to see where you're at. The mic is yours, everyone. That's Adriaan or Adriaan, right? Am I still saying that right?
Yeah, you are. So Adriaan would be
Adriaan Zimmerman.
My Dutch dad says it, but
yeah. Adriaan Zimmerman, everybody. Mic is yours. If you have any closing thoughts, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, well, it's been really nice to kind of rehash this journey with everybody, and it's something that I've been lucky enough to share through writing and through storytelling and through channels like this. And I know from experience that we all struggle and suffer, and just want to encourage everybody to just be patient, listen to yourself, and the universe really does have a way of aligning, and out of the ashes grows amazing things. So even if you're down in the valley, trust that the next peak is around the corner, and don't let it stop you from creating your dream, whether that's business or craft or art or passion or love, whatever it might be.
And it's kind of, you say out of the ashes grow amazing things. So it's like a full circle, right? With everything else.
Very much
Love
so.
that. Mic drop. Boom. Thanks so much for being on.
Hey, thank you, bud.
Episode of Boss to Boss. Your next step is to visit bosstoboss.com, where you will find proven techniques followed by professionals to help you make that next step. Again, that is boss2boss.com. And remember, the time is now.